Hi, Luis Alonso. Thanks for asking some questions. So just to clarify something, we did draw 3 triangles in class, but the first 2 were just to see the patterns of how we got the third triangle. So the third triangle, we have 30, 60, 90 degrees. And through the patterns, we realized that the short leg that is opposite of 30 degrees, we call x. The hypotenuse is always 2 times x. And then the long leg that's opposite of 60 degrees is x times the square root of 3. So let's practice with number 1 just in case. So what I said in class, this is the recommended steps that I suggested in class. Okay, step 1, label all sides of the triangle. So let's do step 1 and number 1. So this is the short leg. I'm going to call it x. This is the hypotenuse. I'm going to call it twice x. And the long leg is x times the square root of 3. So we labeled all sides. Now I can set up an equation. So this is the only side where I have a number. I know in the long leg, they gave me 3 square root of 3, and I know that is equal to x times the square root of 3. Okay, so I set up my equation. Now to solve for this x, I would divide by the square root of 3, and I would divide by the square root of 3, and look, it's easy, this one cancels. So now we know that x is 3. Now we know that x is 3. So we've solved for x. Now we're going to plug in x into each side. So this side, the short side, is just x, which we know is 3. So that means that y equals to 3. Then in this side, we know that the hypotenuse is 2 times x, and x is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. So the hypotenuse, which they labeled as x, is 6. Okay? All right, let's try number 4 together. So number 4, this is the short leg. We're going to call it x. The hypotenuse, we're going to call it 2x. And the long side, we can call it x times the square root of 3. Okay? So now we'll set up our equation with this side. We have 7 root 3 divided by 2 equals x times the square root of 3. Another way we could write this is we could write this as 7/2 times the square root of 3. It might be best to write it as 7/2 times the square root of 3 equals x times the square root of 3. So now to solve for x, I'm going to divide by the square root of 3 and divide by the square root of 3. And look, this one also cancels. It's easier to see the way we rewrote it, okay? So now we know that x equals 7/2, okay? Now let's go back to our thing. So here the short leg is x. We know that's 7/2. So the y value in number 4 is 7/2. And then we know that this side is twice x. So 2 times 7/2, the 2's will cancel again, and we end up with 7. So in this case, x is 7. Okay? I hope that helps. Have a wonderful day.